Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. And please welcome to the stage, Mathoni Wambu Kral.
Sky, freedom, codes. Hey, never let it go, never let it go. Not once, never let it go, never let it go.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening. Everybody, and welcome to the Gain Power Powerful Idea Awards. I am Mathoni Wambu Kral, your awards chair and co-MC with the fantastic Cirillo Manego III for this evening. And we couldn't be more excited to be here with all of you tonight. As I look around this room, I'm moved. I'm gonna go off notes for a moment. At these organizers and trailblazers and change makers and the folks who have impacted me, because I'm never just impacted on the front end of my life. I am impacted continuously by the work that you all are doing. Thank you for being here tonight. My career in politics began when I was not much higher than my parents' knees. I often joke that thanks to Judith and Christopher, the queen and king of voluntold, I could hold protest signs before I could walk. Because this was Chicago in the 70s, right, Mignon? And if you're not familiar with that place and time, there were many inequities to protest, so I had plenty of practice. It was my educator activist parents who taught me my first lessons in politics, one that I believe all of us in this room have learned and taken to heart. It is not a choice, but your duty to be involved. So yeah, involved, but when I graduated from the Howard University, hello, anybody HU? And took my first job at the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, a place quietly I'd never heard of, I'm not gonna lie to you. In those days, I'd fax the hell out of my resume to the Hill. It went about nowhere. But this was the first callback I'd received because I'd been referred by somebody who knew me. And y'all, there was no Google at the time, so I have no idea how I actually prepared for this, honestly, I don't know. Because I wasn't deeply involved in party politics, I was just deeply involved. I didn't know anything about this formal side of the industry. I'd volunteered at the Democratic National Committee in 1992 when it was in New York, my hometown, and was blown away completely by Ron Brown, the enigmatic chair of the DNC, the first African American to hold that position. Yeah, but then I promptly kind of forgot about the DNC, so. And then, fast forward, I had my job at this DCCC place, and I learned the largesse of party politics, the money it took to run competitive campaigns, like one lousy congressional seat. I was like, whoa. And here I began to see the gaps in the system. Groups who needed representation, who didn't have access to the amount of money that it was now taking to win congressional seats, and many had no idea how to raise it, including some of our members at the time, because politics and elections were changing, right, Chuck? And they were becoming more expensive for our communities that were used to being able to win on grassroots politics alone. I was a young assistant, but even members of Congress were pulling me to the side, looking for answers, for expertise, and for advocacy in this place. We needed to figure out a system we knew had shifted and was now harder than ever to enter and to hold on to impact change. So I decided at 24 years old, it would be my mission, broke and all, to give the groups missing from our formal political tables everything I knew to guide them to the resources it takes to enter into politics as I knew it at that time. And in doing so, I found my purpose in this industry. And so I started a woman-owned fundraising firm that helped to take a little-known Illinois state senator, Barack Obama, to the US Senate. I worked for a presidential candidate my dad once called the fifth place guy. Shh. When I said I was going to work for Joe Biden in the 2008 presidential race, we now call him Mr. President, it's okay. I worked for a little-known state senator from Greensboro, North Carolina, helping her to become the first Democratic woman elected to the US Senate from North Carolina. And I'm gonna take a moment to pause on North Carolina because, by the way, we are gonna increase our Senate majority again through the state of North Carolina and send our second woman and our first black woman to the US Senate, putting a black woman's voice back into the Senate where we belong with Sherry Beasley this November. Where was I? Hold on. It's getting hot. It's really hot up here. I worked for a decade, y'all, at Emily's List and helped to launch the largest training and recruitment program in the organization's history. I got a lot of EL alumni here. Thank y'all. You were there. And I've served our party as the National Political and Organizing Director, following in some fantastic footsteps inside of the Democratic National Committee. Thank you, Ron Brown, for planting that latent seed. And in summary, this purpose, I've stuck with it. I've also known moments of struggle. We're not going to act like this was smooth, and failure. And I have women who are sitting here tonight who have been there through all of it. working in an industry where it has typically taken staffers of color far more time to be moved into senior level roles than it did our white counterparts. Sometimes struggling to understand how to fit roles or to make the role fit me or you. Serving in roles where the work was less valued. Taking on roles where the communities we were asked to organize have the least amount of time, money, people, resources allocated. And saying yes to things when I should have absolutely said no. But I've also fine-tuned the art of my ancestors. I serve a vision that's always been greater than me. It powers the act of pushing forward, and I had help, right, T? She knows. And as I look at some of my sheroes out here tonight, I see Miss Lottie Shackelford and Mignon Moore. And they're no-nonsense examples that once terrorized me and got me straight, showing operatives like me the way, because there was no other way. This was serious. Even greater than a job title and the challenges of pioneering or the pain that we can often experience when we are still in the year of our Lord 2022, battling marginalization in our work, it is to decide, y'all, to have an unyielding, Tasha, fidelity to purpose. Thank you. Moved by no person. Heather, you showed us that. Deterred by no person. Finding mentors. Finding community. Find where your resilience lives and keep going. We are all here in DC tonight to celebrate and award those of you who have made that kind of extraordinary contribution to our electoral democracy work that often goes unseen and under-celebrated. Not tonight, y'all. Because you are shifting the ground in such a way that your peers have spoken in numbers. We are also here to welcome and to connect those who want to be involved in this work. We have a career expo tomorrow, and we have folks tuning in via live stream. This work is not meant to be limited. This work is meant to be as expansive as humanly possible, and that is what we are here to do. And I am thrilled about the career fair tomorrow. Shout out to our attendees from out of state. We are thrilled to host you here in DC. Because these awards and tomorrow's career fair are about taking a cottage industry and blowing it wide open, knocking it down, and building something that is so much more expansive. The work has already begun. We're not total pioneers. We're on the shoulders of. But we're trying to take our little piece of it and keep chipping away. And so tonight, Amy, we are saluting those who have powerfully impacted democracy, elections, and advocacy, those who have stayed on purpose, and I can't wait. But first, I'm going to turn it over to my sister, Amy Pritchard, founder of Gain Power and creator of the Powerful Idea Award!
All right, how y'all doing? I should have known better following Mathoni. I should have started and let her build up the crowd. I will not be as inspiring, but I will be as passionate. I'm really excited to be here tonight. I am thrilled to see so many friends and so many new friends, so many old friends and new friends here. And I am just thrilled to welcome you all to our first, what I hope will be one of many, Powerful Idea Awards. We're here dedicated to elevating and celebrating the people, the organizations, the programs, the communications, and the technology that impact our democracy, elections, and advocacy. And that's what IDEA stands for. And of course, power our progressive politics. So I've already been introduced. I'm Amy Pritchard, founder of this organization, Gain Power, which is actually a new organization, but really in many ways a continuation of another organization I founded almost 20 years ago. We won't talk too long about that. We are a community of over 41,000 people who work in progressive politics. At least that's what our listserv says these days. Our jobs that are left, which sometimes I think people know better than gain power. Very popular job listserv. A few years ago, a friend of mine, who some of you know, I don't think she's in the room tonight, Amanda Brown, gave me a journal. And on the cover, it said, "Trust your crazy ideas." Those who know me know I have a lot of crazy ideas. Honestly, this thankfully wasn't one of them. This is something that I've thought about for a very long time. I've thought that we've really needed a space and a place to gather and to celebrate the people and the work that we do, because it is so important. You are all so important. We don't have enough celebratory events in the best of times, and needless to say, we haven't been in the best of times the last few years. The pandemic stole from us every opportunity that we would normally have to gather. We had no convention, we had no election night, we had no inauguration in person anyway. Many of you have probably been working together for years and never met before this evening. I happen to know that's true for some of you. I met half my staff tonight for the first time, because we've all been working at home alone, you know? So I'm really grateful that we're all here actually in person celebrating together tonight. Hope everyone got your tests. Be careful. Keep wearing masks, you know. I really want to make sure that I give a special shout out and thanks, first of all, to the sponsors. We did not do this alone. Not a lot of our friends who lift up this organization and trusted this idea. I don't know if Greg Speed is still in the room, from America Votes. We have Act Blue. Our friends from AFSCME. Of course, the DNC, who is truly one of the first organizations. I know Roger and Mentor and a lot of other staff were here. Thank you all for supporting this idea. National Education Association, Mission Control, 76 Words, and by the way, Dewey Square, who I think would have supported anyway, but are especially happy to support you, Mignon, and thank you. And Ashley Spallone, Pactual. There's so many others. I'm not naming them all. We'd be here all night. But I do want to especially also acknowledge our staff. This really did take an army of staff and consultants, and I want to make sure they get shout-outs. Some of them are still downstairs. I'm sad they're not up here enjoying this with us. Christine, Kara, Seth, I saw you around here somewhere. Lyric, Felicia, Lona, Darcy, Ife, Jasmine, Aviance, the Dania team, my sister. Jess, I don't know where she is. Nothing would be happening here tonight without Jess and Venus. They're probably around working the back room somewhere here. Cyrus, Allison, I don't know where she is. I could not do anything without Allison Schwartz. Cirillo, you're going to hear from. You're amazing. I'm so excited that you're going to be co-emceeing tonight. Roberto and Kanda from Solidarity Strategies. And by the way, shout out to the rest of the Solidarity Strategies team, because what you guys have built, what you have done, is nothing short of remarkable. And I'm just so proud to be in partnership with you. You're going to see some more of them. Our friends and our peer firm from Shakira, Michael, Antoinette, Ryan, Sarah, Jillian, and I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. Actually, a couple others. Vince Murphy. And this is going to sound really random, but my Rwanda team. Some of you know I actually live in Rwanda part-time, and I have 7 people who work there with me full-time, and many of them contributed to this event as well, so shout out to my Rwanda team. And I'd be remiss if I didn't actually thank the staff and the servers here at Levy. I think it's always important that we acknowledge when we're in a place, the workers, because let's be honest, this is why we do what we do for the folks who are the servers. And anyway, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank everyone. I'm so excited that you all came out for this event and that you're all here to be part of it. I'm so passionate about our democracy. I'm really passionate about politics. I'm passionate about elections. I'm passionate about the work that we do and the people who do it. I'm not going to give you my long story, because we'd be here all night. But I didn't come from a political family. I actually wasn't raised to do politics. I just sort of found a passion for it early in life. But what I will say was that I was embraced and lifted up by so many amazing people who really took care of me and put me in spaces and places that I still can't believe I was able to walk in. And it was unbelievable. And so from that experience, it is something that has really fueled my work, because I believe it's equally important to continue to embrace the people. I'm so excited tonight that we are really having a cross-generational event. We have people that we're honoring, Mignon again with Lottie. I'm so thrilled that you're here tonight, who have been doing this work for decades. But we also have, shout out Gen Z change. How many are you? Some of you have been doing this a couple of years, but you're still, we're not going to get into your age. Make sure you're not drinking at the bar. I got flagged on this already. I'm just saying. True. We're so thrilled you're here. We're really, really thrilled that you're here to meet some of the legends. Heather Booth, you're looking at your phone. I see you. But I have to name you because you've always been such an inspiration for me, and I hope all these young folks get to meet you here tonight. Joe Sandler, we're going to acknowledge later, too, who has been, you don't even want to know how many situations Joe's been helping me out with for how many years. Has been my lawyer and more things that I care to admit to, and certainly more than he would like to. But really, so many here tonight that I really want to appreciate and acknowledge. And I am going to take a moment. We talked about and decided not to do an in memoriam for a whole variety of reasons, but it is something that we would like to do probably in the next years going forth. But I do have to say that I lost one of my closest friends just less than 2 weeks ago, a very young woman who died quite unexpectedly, Christy Bailey, who was, I'm going to get emotional here in a minute, but the political director and most senior staff person at the Teamsters Union for 20 years. And so the labor movement lost an incredible woman, and I lost a very dear friend. And there's so many others. I was thinking about David Mercer tonight, who we lost this past year. Someone who was truly actually my first, I would call him my first friend in politics. I literally met him on the 86th congressional race in Massachusetts. And my point is I don't want to get too emotional, but there are these amazing people who most people actually don't know. They're behind the scenes doing the work. They're not the ones in front of the camera. They're not the ones who are in the ads. They're not the ones, obviously, serving in office. But there's thousands of people who have dedicated their lives to this work of working for the party, working for progressive organizations, working for the issues, working for the all over. And don't really get acknowledged. And so tonight is really about celebrating and recognizing the folks who have made a profession, and some of you haven't quite made it a profession yet, but I hope you will. You're certainly what keep us inspired and what at least give me hope in what is clearly a very dark time in so many ways. It has become, I would call it, tradition, if you will, certainly at a lot of progressive events, to acknowledge the land that we stand on, the stolen land that we stand on. And I have to confess, I had to study a little bit about this land, right? We're on Anacostan land, that is the Anacostia River. Well, no, that's the Potomac. Anacostia is up at Bend. But anyway, but more than just acknowledging the land, I actually want to acknowledge the people. I'm really proud. We have several Native organizers who are being recognized tonight, and Native organizations. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but Mathoni talked about a very real problem that we've had as a party and a movement. We talk about being progressive and liberal and Democrats and yada, 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 but the reality is our party, in a professional sense, is not always reflected who we represent as a country and as a movement. And so it has been very intentional and very much a part of our mission to recognize the people who do this work, but to particularly recognize, and there's so many of you here, so thank you, Black, Latino, Asian, LGBTQ, all people of color, all diverse people who are underrepresented in our party, and to lift you up and to continue to do what we need to do to recruit and to inspire and to mobilize people to do this work. And it is work. And we need to do a better job of it. So I have made it a personal mission, and I'm glad to see so many of you here to be part of this. But we have a lot more work to do. We have We didn't get the court official ruling, but we already know the answer. We know what it's about to say. We know about the horrific experience, the gun violence and the massacres, and not just the ones that get all the ones that we don't read about every day, and the gun violence. And the Greg Jackson, shout out to you for the work that you do. Really, but we've got some serious work to do, and it can feel demoralizing, and it can feel sad, and it can feel really upsetting. And I have to say, despite feeling scared and feeling sad and feeling very emotional, I'm excited, and I'm hopeful, and I'm inspired, and I feel positive. Mostly, again, shout out to these Gen Z youth who are here with us tonight, because you're our future, and you're doing so much more. I actually was active pretty young. You're doing so much more. And so appreciate all that you do, really. We got a lot of work to do, but it is important to take moments like this to actually have some joy, to actually celebrate the goodness. I really feel so strongly that the work we do is so important, but so many people, I don't know how many of you found yourself in this experience, when people ask you what you do, you don't even want to tell them the answer, because they'll be like, ooh, politics, whatever, you know? And so I'm on a mission, not just to diversify, but to inspire people to want to do this work. I really want people to know how noble it is, because it is noble. And I can't think of a more important profession to be in, particularly in this moment. We always talk about the next election is the most important one. I still think the last one might have been. But the next ones are serious, and we've got a lot at stake. And so I hope, for those of you who are still new to this space, that you feel appreciated. That's part of our goal tonight, that you feel recognized, that you feel acknowledged, and that you feel inspired to continue this work. I'm so glad you've all been here. I'm going to stop talking. I feel like I've gone off my speech here a little bit. Okay? Yeah. Huh? It is my party. It's true. I suppose I could talk all night. But that's not the point. There's a lot more people here we want to acknowledge. So I just want to, again, say thank you, all of you. And I hope you have a really good time. And I hope, please, do me a favor. I see you're all in your little cliques. Make sure you take some time. First of all, introduce yourselves to these amazing women in the front row here. I'm serious. And you will thank me later. Okay? You will thank me later. And that one, too, is one second row. Okay? You will thank me later. Seriously. Because there are some amazing people here. Take the time to meet them. Don't just talk to your friends. This is a networking event, okay? You want to, get cards, trade cards, and get to know each other. So, thank you. I'm going to wrap. This is Mathoni or Cirillo. I don't know. Am I passing off to you? All right.
Never let it go, never let it go. Not once, never let it go, never let it go.
All right, so we are about to hop into these awards. Y'all ready? I mean, really, for the awardees, y'all ready? Okay. All right, now we have some folks who are not here, but that's okay. They are joining us over live stream, or we are still going to be acknowledging them. And we are still super excited. But I'm just going to start reading out names, and I want you all to join us up here. We're going to do a couple of photos, and we're going to keep this moving. But we want everybody's name and what you are being honored for to be clearly heard. And so Teresa Sheldon, Native American Political Director for the DNC, has been honored as Transformational Talent and Leader for Political Staff. Mondell Robinson, Founding Principal, Black Male Voter Project, honored to be our Transformational Talent and Leader for Issue Activist or Movement Leader. Tanya Slobozuski, did I get it right? Is she here? Okay. Operations Associate and Volunteer Coordinator for Movement Labs, honored under Transformational Talent and Leaders for Operations. Shasti Conrad, Party Chair, King County Democrats, King County, Washington State, honored for party leadership as Transformational Talent and Leaders. Woo! Rose Espinola, trainer, Repower, honored as a trainer under Transformational Talent and Leaders. Dopest name of the night, Jiggy Geronimo, founder and principal of Insights LLC, Transformational Talent and Leaders for Research. Diana Bryant, student activist and community organizer, University of Virginia, transformational talent and leader, social media strategist, and influencer. Dear white staffer, honored for social media strategist and influencer, I'll say so. Chuck Rocha, president of Solidarity Strategies and Nuestro PAC, honored as general consultant, transformational talent and leaders. Ebony Baylor, Deputy Director of Coalitions of Community Engagement for the DNC, honored for her role as party staff, transformational talent and leaders. Meg DiMartino, Chief of Staff, Organizing Department, the DNC, honored as party staff for transformational talent and leaders. Carrie Michael Robinson. Oh, I'm going to stop. Hold, please. Sorry, sit. I'm at the end of this. So this is our first group. We are so excited about you all. Okay. No big movements, I've learned. Okay. All right, we're moving right into our next category. Congratulations, congratulations. All right, now I really mean it. Carrie Michael Robinson, CEO of Art Bay LLC, Design Solutions for Transformational Talent and Leaders, artist. Holly Holiday, president at Sister Leads, Sister Votes, chief strategist at Holiday Advisors, transformational talent and leaders, leadership through equity. Tasha Cole, deputy executive director and chief diversity officer for the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, transformational talent and leaders, leadership through equity. We had a tie. These fabulous women. Tim Hernandez, lead director, the outreach team, transformational talent and leaders for field. Welcome him up, Tim. Transformational talent leaders candidate, Michelle Wu, mayor of the city of Boston. She is not able to be with us tonight, but we celebrate her. Brittany Packnett Cunningham, host of the podcast and media, Brittany Packnett, transformational talent and leaders, media strategist and influencer. Dakota Espinoza, director of communications, Fair Fight Action, transformational talent and leaders, communication staff. Elisa McCool, president, ACM Strategies, transformational talent and leaders, consultant, digital. And finally, Sam Nitz, partner, Fireside Campaigns, transformational talent and leaders, data staff. All right, this is our second group, y'all.
I want my Tony's picture.
Operation. Be careful, yeah, really. Learn from me. Thank you, Quincy. All right, we're gonna keep breezing through. We congratulate them, though. Let's give them another round of applause. I am really feeling my ears in this heat. Okay, all right. I'm trying not to talk about it, but all I can think about is that. Okay. All right, Transformational Talent and Leaders continues. Fundraising. Hello. The money, Becca Guerra, owner and consultant, Guerra Strategies, LLC. Miles Paxton, digital marketing and campaign specialist, AFSCME, Transformational Talent and Leaders, digital staff. Awesome. Lily Joy Winder, community inclusion coordinator, Gen Z for Change, BIPOC and constituency organizer. Terrence Woodbury, Chief Executive Officer and founding partner, HIT Strategies, consultant, polling. Rebecca Piercy, Vice President, Bryson Gillette, consultant in media. I don't think Rebecca's here tonight. Joe Sandler, Joe, partner, Sandler, Reeve, Lamb, Rosenstein, and Birkenstock, PC, consultant, legal and compliance. Thank you, sir. Jack Knoxville, founder, executive director, Trans Empowerment Project, manager, leader, transformational talent and leaders. Mary Lou Akai Ferguson, campaign manager, Michelle Wu for Boston. They were like ringing it in. Transformational talent and leaders, manager, leader. This is our third group, y'all, of honorees. All right, now we're doing our video, aren't we? Yeah. All right, so as you all know, this life is really busy and you spend a lot of time on the road. For those of you who may just be getting started in your career, just know what's ahead of you. I hope you like travel. Which is why I have very rarely served on boards. I literally serve on one as of recent history, and it is that of Act Blue. And it's because I started out as a fundraiser, which is why I was extra excited about our fundraiser. And I remember the time when money was not this democratized, when money could be a barrier to entry, when you couldn't be in Wyoming and necessarily know or have a channel for giving money to some congressional candidate over in Boston if Ayanna Pressley was running and, was doing something extraordinary. And so this is the thing about Act Blue that moved me, was the fact that it really opened up the avenue for people to participate in what I think of as one of our greatest civil rights as well, which is our right to civic participation through giving and investments. And so I want to honor tonight one of our sponsors, Act Blue, for their generous contribution and share a little bit more about the organization. Well, that was short. Short and sweet. We appreciate that. All right. So for those of you, though, who want to learn a little bit more about Act Blue and who haven't, they're also hiring, and they will also be, they won't be at the career fair tomorrow, but they are hiring. They're always hiring. It's a big operation. They're going to have someone there, Amy? At the virtual, yes, on the 16th. So they will be a part of that. So spread the news. All right. So we're going to keep going. We are now coming to a very, very special part of the evening. where we are going to be giving out our first big award for something that is even larger than, frankly, it's sort of like, I would call it, this is us getting to the crescendo, the first one of what all of you who have been awarded tonight get. This is hashtag goals. And that is our Lifetime Achievement Award that is going to Miss Lottie Shackelford. And well, what do I say to my soror, my mentor, someone who I've watched through the years, even when she didn't know I was watching? I say there's a video for you that Secretary Alexis Herman decided to make to honor you in this moment.
I'm delighted to join you this evening in Washington, D.C. for the inaugural celebration of the Powerful Idea Awards. This award celebrates individuals and programs that make a difference in our collective efforts to fight every day to save our nation. And I can think of no one who is more deserving of this award this evening than my friend, Lottie Shackelford. And I thank you for honoring her tonight. The reality is, when you think about the history and the life of service for Lottie Shackelford, there is no cause that is so dear to us that she has not worked for and championed. You know, I first met Lottie Shackelford when she had been elected the mayor of Little Rock, Arkansas in 1978. And this was after she had been elected no less than 3 times to serve as a member of the board of directors for the city of Little Rock. I met Lottie through our dear friend, Ernie Green, who was being honored in Little Rock as a member of the Little Rock Nine by a young governor then by the name of Bill Clinton. Lottie's enthusiasm that day, her passion to make a difference, in my view, has not waned from that moment so many years ago until today. She has served with distinction in so many positions, whether it was her leadership positions in the National League of Cities, presidential transition campaigns, her efforts to advance the status of women as a member of the International Women's Conference. But of course, we know her especially today as the longest serving vice chair, the longest serving officer of the Democratic National Committee. And in that capacity today, Lottie serves as the chair of the Democratic National Committee's Women's Caucus. When we worked so closely together during the tenure of Ron Brown and his chairmanship, I'm reminded tonight of the words that Ron spoke when he was first elected chair of the Democratic National Committee. He said, as the first African American, I am not interested in simply making history. I want to make a difference. Those words certainly apply to Lottie tonight. Lottie has made an incredible difference throughout her entire career. She understands especially that politics is not a spectator sport, that you have to be in the arena, and you have to be in the arena fighting for those issues and causes on a daily basis. I can think of no one who is more deserving of this recognition of unsung heroes and heroines than Lottie Shackelford. Congratulations, my friend, and may God continue to richly bless you.
So, I don't think I can say anything more than the Secretary has said. I do want to just lift up a few things because I know the video is not easy to hear. And we have people in the room who may not have heard of Lottie Shackelford, who for 20 years has served as vice chair of the Democratic National Committee. And I'm going to be honest, y'all. When I took the job at the DNC, my husband was like, you know you're going to work in the snake pit, right? And I was like, whatever do you mean? I'm going to work for my party. Politics are hard. Politics are complicated. Politics are broad if you're doing it right. And politics require a certain deft hand for those who have chosen to serve with length and consistency. And what do you think it felt like for me to come in and to feel that I had a pillar to put my hand on when I needed it? And to know that I had an example to draw from, not just one, but Miss Lottie was certainly one of the most powerful people in my space, my sorority sister, who for me kept me off the third rail. There is an art to this. And the counseling was really and truly could not be, I can't overstate it. And I won't even look at Mignon because then I'll start crying. And I won't look at Tanya because then I'll fall out. So this is what it means to have these mentors, these stalwarts in the space. And when you say that someone has done something for 20 years in a place my husband called the snake pit, I mean, it's a big deal. But it's a place of love for a lot of folks. There is an act of love in what we are doing and an act of service. And that is the example that we have been given. And someone who is chair of the Women's Caucus and who is already looking out to see who else is going to be serving in these roles. She is constantly looking at other talent. And in addition to that, the first, and I think only Black woman to have ever served as mayor of Little Rock, Arkansas. I don't even know how to state that more, what that meant, what it means. And so it is truly my honor to be in a position to say thank you and to lift her up on the wings that she absolutely deserves, every single feather, and to say, you, Miss Lottie, are our Lifetime Achievement Award winner.
One of my daughters just said to me, she looked at me and, oh well, sorry. She looked at me and she said, drink some water, Mom, you won't cry. Well, Carla, it's not working. Mathoni, where did she go? Oh, there you are. Thank you so very, very much. You and Amy. For thinking of me and offering me this award. Thank you all so very, very much. Oh, I looked at one of my daughters and I was like, oh, I don't have any paper, I don't have a pencil, I know I'm gonna forget names, so Karen handed me the reserve sign. I turned it over. I said, now I need a pen, because it was some names that I didn't want to forget. And I can't thank Alexis enough, Madam Secretary, to take the time out to give an honor to me. That makes me feel truly, truly good. And all I've heard tonight, I'm just humble, so humble and honored to be thought of, more or less honored. And when I heard you all give the call out in the categories for all you young people who are out there doing what I call the Lord's work, congratulations to each and every one of you. Thank you so very, very much. You will have many days of frustration. You will have many days that you'll stump your foot and you may say some ungodly words. But one of the things in this arena of politics, one emotion you will never have, and that's boredom. So keep on keeping on. Again, I want to thank Muthoni and Amy, and Lona has been, such a jewel. You know, some people give you their number and they say, if you need me, call me, and then they don't respond. But that's not Lona. And Lona, thank you so very, very much. I want to thank my daughters, Karen and Carla, who live in Atlanta, and I was sharing with them. I said, well, I'm going to run into D.C. An organization is going to have a program, and I'm going to be one of their honorees. And the next thing I know, they're going like, well, when are you going to give us some more information about this? So I then just shot them off an email. I forwarded one, and the next thing I know, I'm calling Lona and saying, you said I had a +1. I have a +2. And so I want to thank them for always being willing to come and be with their mom. And I have a son. I have 3 kids and 6 grands. And my son didn't find out until 3 days ago. And I was saying, I want you to take me to the airport. And he said, okay, where are you going? I said, I'm going to D.C. And I said, and Kay and Carl are coming too. And he's like, what's going on? And then when I said, oh, you didn't invite me? I said, oh, well, you know how it is sometimes. And so, and then I'm sorry, man, but I said, I think it's a women's event. Oh, and then I was talking with some other friends, and Karen called me, I believe it was Monday or Saturday. At some point she called, Karen Coleman, and said, oh, well, LaTonya and I were thinking about coming up to D.C. I said, really? She said, yes. And then she called me yesterday afternoon and she said, well, it didn't work out. I said, well, I understand. Thank you all for thinking. And you know what? This afternoon, they knocked on my hotel door. And that's Karen Coleman and Judge-elect LaTonya Austin Honorable from Little Rock, Arkansas. Thank you all. And then last night, I was like, oh, let me call Mignon, because when Muthoni called and asked me about this or offered me this opportunity, and I said yes, but I didn't ask any questions. I didn't say who else and any of that. And then the last couple of days, I started seeing some other things. And so I called I said, oh, Mignon, I'm being honored with Mignon. Wow, what a treat. So I called Mignon, and she was exactly as I was. She didn't know much about what was going on either. I said, you know, we come from a generation. I'm older than Mignon, but I've met her mom, and I know her mom, and her mom had met my mom. And so they were of that generation. You know, if you get offered an opportunity, you ask very few questions. And so it was like, oh, yes, I'm honored and I'm humble, and yes, I'll be there. So we both were saying, we don't really know much about what's going on, but we'll be there. You know, and it's just thrilling to me to be honored along with someone who I know puts her heart and soul each and every day in trying to improve the lives of others. And I can truly say, Mignon, I don't care what she says, but she doesn't know how to say no. When somebody comes to her with a good idea or something that needs to be done, then she's going to be right there saying yes. I wanted to also just do a shout out for my DNC family. As you all have heard, I have spent a goodly portion of my life at the DNC. And they talked about 20 years of being a vice chair. Well, that 20 years, I reached that milestone in 2019. So it has grown. And so for the DNC family and Brentia Berry, and then I saw Ebony getting an award tonight, and then somebody who was always around when I went there and is still around helping whenever someone calls on him, Joe Sandler. So for the DNC family, I never get tired of you all. And then as thank you. And as Muthoni said, I guess I didn't have the same experience Muthoni's husband thought the DNC was, because I never thought of it as a snake pit. Maybe, well, we'll just leave it alone is what I thought. But I do want to just say this truly is an humbling experience for me. And when I got involved in politics, I didn't know that that's what I was getting involved with. Why? Because as a child, I went with my dad. I lived in the South, in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I would go with my dad when he was selling poll tax receipts to others to enable them to vote. He didn't call it politics. I didn't call it politics. It was not politics in my day. It was trying to make certain, as my mom would say, you gotta pay for the space you occupy on this earth. And then fast forward on, and I got involved with the PTA. Why? Because when my oldest child got ready to go to school, well, you know, I was not quite ready to let someone else take over with him. So I followed him to school via the PTA. And I did everything for the PTA. And it was with the PTA that I got involved with then politics, because we were constantly going to City Hall or to the state capitals or someplace asking for things for the school or improvements in the playground or crossing guards. And I said we were constantly playing Captain May I. And then a small group of folk called Black Female Action, and we were trying to be civic participatory, and we were trying to decide who would run for various offices, and then it was time to elect our city representatives for our city council. And in this small group, somebody went like, while we were trying to decide who should run, Lottie, you should run. Me? What will I do? And some smart Alex say, the same thing you always do, talk. Just keep talking. And fast forward, I did run. I lost the first time I ran, and I say this for all of you in the room who have a goal and you haven't quite made it, don't give up. Because there were 5 people in the race. I came in third, but I acted as though I had won. Because after that election, I just kept on. I kept going down to City Hall. I kept doing this. I kept doing that. And one day, I was there. So I guess I want to say to each and every one of you, when you're out there, you're doing the work, and it appears that nothing is going right. And Lord knows, I get up so many times, and I look up sometimes, and I say, Lord, how much do we have to bear? But then I remember, it's not so much how much we have to bear, but it's how much we work to have the strength and the courage to keep going, regardless as to what we have to bear. So when you hear Amy and you hear Mathoni talk about what they do in the sense of encouraging and providing the materials, the tools, the strength, sometimes the brain power, it's all because we want a better world for generations to come. We need a better world. So each of you have work to do. Thank you so very, very much for that.
Happy off the stage.
Please welcome to the stage Cirillo Manego III.
Too fast, too fly, too flaunted, too gas, too high, yeah, we on it. We go wherever the crew going. I'm ready, so tell me who want it. Too fast, too fly, too flaunted, too gas, too high, yeah, we on it. We go wherever the crew going. I'm ready.
Are we back? Are we back? Another round of applause for Miss Lottie Shackelford right here, y'all. Seriously, though. First of all, I just want to say good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, and good evening. As fate would have it, we late, right? And so I had this big speech, and I was going to give y'all a bunch of this and that, but I'm going to do a rendition of it, but maybe not the whole version of it, because I want to make sure that we stay on time. We got bills to pay. Amy is probably looking at me like, yes, we have a lot of bills to pay. But it's definitely good to see every one of you, especially to each of the young folks out there. I remember literally when I first came to D.C., I was not your age. I was a little bit older. And, from New Orleans, Louisiana. So I'm also... You from New Orleans? Come on now, what part? Oh, yeah. See, New Orleans people be everywhere, y'all. And shout out to Ebony Man from Louisiana as well. And working with the DNC and National Urban League. And I'll get into that to the second, so I want to save that part for part of my story. But hopefully y'all enjoying the award so far. I think it's been a fantastic show. So people have been blessed. We've been blessed. Honestly, you don't really know who you sitting and standing next to until they get up on stage and start telling their story. Honestly, when I looked up Miss Mignon Moore and I heard Miss Shackelford's story and I listened to Mathoni speak and I hear her story, I'm inspired by everyone in this building, but more importantly, the people that like literally have paved the way and mopped the floors, and we standing on shoulders, and it's a beautiful thing to see, right? But let me reintroduce myself for a second. My name is Cirillo Manego III, right? I'm a lawyer. I'm the CIO of Black with No Chaser. It's a viral multimedia company where we aim to educate, organize, and mobilize Black people across this country. You know, we always say think Black and live Black unapologetically, and we do that every single day of our lives, and I'm very blessed to be a part of an organization that stands on that purpose. But I would say, like, unlike Mathoni and some other folks where they were probably knee-high when their story began, I would like to think that my story started before I even touched this earth. My mother was one of the original Black Panthers in New Orleans, Louisiana. My father was a trailblazing coach and coached at the all-black high school, St. Augustine High School in New Orleans, Louisiana. And Miss Moore, based upon your past history with President Clinton, I'm pretty sure you were part of that team that got President Clinton down there on some political affairs to be at that black high school in New Orleans on a day. And my brother was a student that year. I believe this is 1995, 1996 in New Orleans. And I was in attendance that day, and probably you were there. So full circle moment here about how life and how fate would have it when you just don't know when the people around and the energy is moving, where you're going to end up being. So, thank you for that. It's just so back to my father for a second because I really want to understand about who I am and where I come from. But, as a trailblazing coach of the only all-black boys high school in this country still to this day, he integrated all the actual basketball games. So if you ever seen a movie called Passing Glory, that movie between Jesuit High School and St. Augustine High School, I'm going to give y'all a bit of a history lesson about what happened really that day. So most people believe that it was a close game if you watch Passing Glory. But in reality, St. Augustine High School beat Jesuit High School by 19, 20 points that day. They actually pressed them off the floor, as my dad would say. He was the head coach at the time of that actual basketball team and literally took that, integrated all of Louisiana sports. So he was the first in Louisiana, right? And so he went on to do amazing things. My mother, something about the mothers, man. My dad was a quiet, very actionable, man, a human being. My mother was a firecracker, very militant. I just told you she was part of the Black Panther Party, so you already know, where she coming from. And I remember, like, all of her friends at the time. I didn't even know that they were all also part of the Black Panther Party. I didn't know they were serving lunches in cafeterias. I didn't know they was on picket lines growing up. But it's about when you tell these stories. And I remember my mother began to tell me a story, and I was on Bill Jefferson campaigns wearing his T-shirts and walking around with signs. And I didn't know that seeds were being planted inside of me that one day I'll be standing in front of all of you. And I fast forward my entire life. I went to school at Florida A&M University. So shout out to all the HBCU grads out there. But I will say that what really landed me here was one particular issue. And I feel like for every organizer, anybody that gets into politics, is always one issue. It's something that kind of like sparks something inside you that really ignites this passion for change, right? And I was literally in law school. I was so happy to be part of the Hinds County Public Defender's Office. And so I get there bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and all I'm thinking is, man, I just want to make it through. Can I write a memo, right? Can I do the things that I just learned in legal writing? And I get there, and the first day, for some reason, one of the lawyers there, Allison, she pulls me aside because I feel like she saw something in me. And she goes, Cirillo, are you familiar with the statutory rape statute in Mississippi? I said, no, not really. And at the time, I was like, why would you be telling me this on my first date? And so she brought me in the office, and she told me to look at a board. And on that board, it was all these criminal statutes, right? And I looked to my left, and I looked to my right at the board, and I was trying to figure out exactly what she was trying to tell me. At the time, even in law school, I didn't even understand what disparities were, right? I go into law school, I wasn't the best writer. I wasn't the best researcher. That was not my cup of tea. But I knew what I wanted to do. And I wanted to be a lawyer, so by hell or high water, I was going to be a lawyer. I didn't really care exactly what it was going to take. So I stand there for about 2 minutes or so, and then she finally says, all right, enough is enough. Enough. She was like, I'm going to tell you. She says, look under the actual who's being convicted under that particular statute. And I looked, and sure enough, 94% of those being convicted under that statute were black men in Hinds County. She said, Cirillo, do you think 94% of black men make up Hinds County? And I was like, I don't know, do they? She was like, no, they don't make up 94% of Hinds County. They don't even make up 65% of what was the actual population at the time in 2014 of what it was and for black people in Hinds County. And she said, so what does that tell you? And I'm looking like I'm still don't really know what disparities are at the time. It's 2014, right? I'm like, I don't know, man. I guess we got to figure out how to tell people stop, committing this crime. And And she says, no. She says, it's an over-policing and criminalization of black people in this country. And it's a white woman who told me this, by the way. And so immediately I was frustrated. Because I was like, well, how could this be? And so I mulled over it for a second. I called my boy Keith. He was actually working at Judge Carlton Reed's office, who's now, by the way, been nominated by the President of the United States to serve on Sentencing Commission under the Obama administration. So full circle moment again for me in my life and people that have been like really pivotal. And so we start Progress Mississippi. In Progress Mississippi, I was not a graphic designer, but it was like this moving from red to blue. Like we had this mission of making Mississippi blue, and I still didn't really know what that meant. And similar to Miss Shackelford, I didn't even know what politics was, and I was like 27, 28. I understood. I knew what it was, but understanding what it means to be a community organizer, understanding what it means to meet issues head on. And I'm like, well, I don't know what we're going to do, but we got to do something. So we started an organization. We started voter registration drives, right? Started community organizing, walking the streets of north side and west side of Jackson. And I remember it was on the west side of Jackson. And if you've ever been on the west side of Jackson, you don't want to walk alone. So, especially if you're not from there. So I bring my boy Keith, because he's from the west side of Jackson. And so we're walking down the street, and literally walking by this corner store. I remember like it was yesterday. And the guy shouts at us. He said, hey, where y'all going? I'm looking, I'm like, man, I'm about to go home. That's what I was thinking. I was like, because I'm not supposed to be here, and I ain't from here, so therefore I shouldn't. So he said, no, y'all come here. What are y'all passing out? So we have these like paper kind of leaflet things that we had printed out to give out to everybody in neighborhoods. And he says, oh, y'all trying to get people to register to vote? We was like, absolutely. He said, man, give me those things. So he takes all of them from us. He says, I got 8 people inside this store that I know who I'm about to make come outside and walk the streets with us. And that was really my first appetite and then like efforts in community organizing. Didn't even know it. And fast forward full circle, I was elected the president of the Black Law Student Association. And a guy there by the name Cedric Haynes, he was also a former president of the Black Law Student Association. And he literally, I walked by the office. Tiffany was my mentor. She's over all like touching students, especially students like me who look like me. And she goes, Cirlo, come here for a second. Come here. And so I come there and I sit down. She said, do you know this brother here? I said, absolutely not. And she said, you should. And Cedric gives me his card. And he says, and he works in the Committee on Homeland Security. And he said, man, call me anytime. I said, well, look, since you're a former president, you should come hear me speak. I'm giving my first State of the Union address as the president of BOSA. He said, oh, man, I'm really busy. You know, I'm busy. I can't come in to see it. I said, okay, well, look, man, I'll give you a call or I'll give you a ring or I'll email you. And I like, you know, went ahead with my day. And lo and behold, towards the end, like middle of the way, Tiffany and Cedric come to the back of the actual lecture hall. I'm giving my speech. And towards the end, Cedric comes down and puts his arm around me. And I finished my speech, and everybody's walking out. And Cedric says, have you ever been to CBC? And I say, well, what is CBC? And he goes, he was like, what? And I said, I never heard of CBC. He says the Congressional Black Caucus, ALC. I said, well, what's ALC? He says the Annual Legislative Conference. I said, okay, now we cooking. Now I'm understanding. I said, no, I haven't. He said, you should come. He said, I don't know how you're going to get there, but you should be here in September. And this is in August. This is the end of August. You know, it's like middle of September. So in 2 weeks, found a flight. I told somebody I'm coming to D.C., find a room for me because I'm going to figure out D.C. I get there. I meet a woman by Nicole Tisdale. Nicole Tisdale introduced me to everybody in the Committee on Homeland Security. Cedric Richmond's there. We're in the 4th floor park. Everybody from the committee is there. And I knew in that moment I found my place. And so I literally said, well, I'm not going to be an actual sports entertainment lawyer anymore. I'm going to be a social engineer. I'm going to find ways to impact my community in ways I never imagined. And then so finally, I get here, finish my last semester of law school, and then the National Urban League. And this is how I know I was meant to be in D.C., and I'm going to wrap it up. I was calling a guy named Kyle. I'm calling him, emailing, I'm calling him, and I'm emailing, I'm calling him, and I'm emailing him. And it's for all y'all out there who think that people who are ignoring your emails are doing it on purpose, because they're likely not. Seriously, they're probably not. So Kyle goes, man, Cirilli emails me back. He said, man, I just saw your email. I didn't know you was from Louisiana. He said, did you know that Don Cravens, who's also been nominated by the Biden administration to work in the Department of Commerce for minority development, right? He goes, hey, man, reach out to Don. I'm going to plug you with Ebony, and then ask Ebony for a 15-minute conversation. 15 minutes turn an hour. Don said, I don't care how I'm going to keep you here, but you got to remain in D.C. And really, the rest is history. So, with that being said, on with the awards. All right, hold on. I had a whole thing prepared, but I didn't really look at it at one time. I told these folks, I know my story. You ain't got to write it down. But okay. All right. Y'all ready? All right, so for the fourth round of awards, it's really dealing with powerful programming, virtual and live, and it goes to Sister District Summit. The next one, powerful program, COVID education, NYC vaccine outreach program. Next one, powerful program, impactful program, rising organizers. And is that it? Is that it for the four? Oh, no, last one. Powerful program, voter registration, Black Voters Matters Fund. And that's it for round 4. So if y'all want to go ahead, there you go, bring them awards. Okay, let's keep it moving. Category number 5. Y'all ready? All right. So powerful program, training, advanced Native political leadership, and Native Leadership Institute. Most creative communication or piece of content, campaign content, solidarity strategies for AZ, ACLU, and well, I guess it's no on HB. I guess it's actually the bill, right? It's a bill 2309. Not. And, okay. Most creative communication or piece of content, art. Giant Sneakers for United We Dream by Wyatt Kloss, my democracy partner, former democracy partner. Congrats, Wyatt. Proud of you, brother. Most creative communication or piece of content podcast, Brown Girls Guide to Politics. And I think that's it. Oh, man, you by yourself, bro. My bad. My apologies. We're sorry. Do we need to give him a, you want to come on stage one more time? Or y'all? I'm going to get in this one with her. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right. I believe this is the last category, Amy. Am I in the? This is it, right? Okay. Beautiful. Last but definitely not least, y'all, for the inspirational organizations and campaigns, for the category of campaign, Black Male Voter Project, and that would be by Mondale, but we know Mondale is not here, so we'll just keep it moving. But shout out to Black Male. I want to say one thing about Black Male Voter Project, man. So we were down there in Georgia for their first event for Brothers Be Voting. We were in Atlanta, Georgia with the New Georgia Project, and it was phenomenal. And it was a bunch of folks. Phil Agnew was there from Dream Defenders, who now moved on. And I just want to kind of put that out there. And just so you know, at the time in which, in 2018, there's about 300 some more thousand voters that voted in Georgia. Because of the work that Black Male Voter Project did, along with Black Voters Matter Fund, along with Stacey Abrams, we were able to turn almost 250,000 more people in the state of Georgia because of the work done. So shout out to them. All right, next. Inspirational organizations and campaigns. Corporation leading on democracy. Media Matters for America. Step on up. Where y'all at? Not here. We got to find the money in the budget to start flying folks out. All right. Speaking of which, inspirational organizations and campaigns leading through a racial equity lens. New Georgia Project. There we go. Okay, once again, I thought it was a typo, but it wasn't. Let me make sure. Inspirational organizations and campaigns, voter education organizations, 501c3, New Georgia Project. It's like the Grammys or something, right? Like, you know, winning back. I didn't know you even went to awards. Inspirational organizations and campaigns, media outlet, the 19th News. All right, y'all. Inspirational organizations and campaigns, new organization making impact, 501c3c4, Advanced Native Political Leadership. Inspirational organizations and campaigns, Political Action Committee, that's PACs or Super PACs, Working Families Party, of course, of course, of course. Inspirational organizations and campaigns, technology, ballot ready. We have one. We have one. Good God Almighty. I thought I was going to be about myself. All right, y'all. That's it for this category. Come on, ballot ready. Give me applause. All right, y'all. I know we've been like hanging y'all on by a thread. We didn't award Miss Lottie Shackelford, and now over to Miss Mayan Moore for the Legendary Achievement Award, right? And just so y'all know, right, this woman here, when we talk about behind the scenes, political action, organizing, right, similar to Miss Shackelford, but organized at the highest level of government, served in the Clinton administration back from the 90s, right? Both terms, I believe. Also, but really why we're here is why they brought her back, because of her organizing and public engagement efforts to get the first black woman nominated and appointed to the Supreme Court of the United States. And it wouldn't have been done without the efforts of Mayan Moore, y'all. Y'all can stay standing because I'm about to read this speech really quickly about, I want to say a little bit about her. So the Powerful Idea Awards Legendary Achievement Award goes to an individual, and I already said who it was, who has played a key role in some of the most significant moments in history of the progressive movement. This individual has driven meaningful change that has impacted innumerable lives. This recipient, Ms. Mignon Moore, has been a critical voice and counselor during the pivotal moments of turmoil and inflection that mark history and the making of our movement. This individual's powerful impact on our democracy, elections, and advocacy is immeasurable. Immeasurable. Expanding on the decades of work to make our country a more just and equitable place. So this year, the inaugural year of the Powerful Idea Awards Legendary Achievement Award goes to none other than Mignon Moore. Miss Mignon Moore. Sorry about that.
Back through some of these speeches and just read from them because I don't need to be coming up with anything. Well, I'm going to just talk to the young people today because I just think that that's really why we are here. And so I'm going to give you a few lessons. The first lesson is to never believe anything that is written about you because you have to figure out what is on the inside of you, what makes you really want to do the work that you do. So it was lovely, and it was nice, and my mother would ask me, are they talking about you? And I would say, no, Mother, they're not, because what she taught me and what my father taught me as I was growing up is really what matters is your character. You heard Mathony's husband talk about the snake pit. Because you are involved, it doesn't mean you have to bring the snake pit with you. What you bring with you is the values that GAIN is teaching you. When you talk to all these employers tomorrow, they're going to want to know, what do you stand for? What makes you want to do the type of work that you are signing up to do? So that's number one. Number two, what would be number two lesson? Don't ever, ever take yourself too seriously. You will lose all the joy and all the fun in everything that you do. In this room, you're going to have friends for life. You're going to have people that you're going to show up for. You're going to show up at their weddings. You're probably going to show up drunk, and they're going to wish you never came to their wedding. But I will say to you, I hope that you all get to know each other tonight because that becomes your lifelong friends. When I never went away to college. But when I came to the administration, when I came to the Democratic National Committee, that became my college. That's how I learned everything. Half of my friends today are based on me working at the DNC over 25 years ago and me working at the White House and me going back to the White House, seeing some of the same people that I had saw on my journey on the way up. Number three, be careful how you treat people. You never know when you will see them again, and you never know when they will be there for you. This young woman right here that's sitting in the front who's filming me, that she will promptly delete after this, she is like this mega person in a corporation. Now, I work for a consulting firm. She worked for me at the White House. Who was the first person she hired when she went to this big company called AT&T? Mignon Moore. But that's because we never abused our relationships, and we always believe that the power of politics is not about politics, it's about public service. What you are doing is transforming lives. You are transforming your democracy. When you think about those people in Buffalo, you think about that 86-year-old woman. All she was doing was going to the grocery store. When you think about those 19 babies and 2 teachers, all they want to do was learn. When you think about what's happening next week, a group of black parishioners in a church got gunned down. But then think about the fact that an 18-year-old can go buy a gun that is almost like what you use in a war. What are you fighting for? That's what you must ask yourself every day. Fight to make a difference. Fight for gun law reform. You are the future. Don't let any of these people tell you you are not the future. We're not standing up here because we're old and tired. We're standing up here because we're passing the baton. Amy, Mathoni, look what they've done. Look what they've created, this diverse room of young people. And I am, by the way, so happy to see so many women. I am happy to see so many women because we do have a vice president of these United States, and we will have a president. So I'm happy to see the women, but I'm also happy to see the men because in this battle, you will need each other. So I will leave you with 2 words. Lift as you climb, and don't ever forget that this is about making a difference. All you really want to do is make a difference. Don't think about the titles. Don't think about any of the accolades. And I know, instant fame and Instagram and Twitter, it gets you a little bit more clicks. But can you see if those clicks are making a difference in somebody's life? Because they need you. And I hope that the investment that Amy is making in you, she has spent 25 years reforming this organization. Heather and I was there when she started it. So we're back to support her some more. Don't let her look up and see your name in the press because you done went off a cliff because you had a little too much of everything. Make her proud of the work, and you become what we know you are, our future. Because I want to go to my house in the Bahamas. I want to sit on the beach. I want to be able to take y'all's calls and give you some instructions, but I don't want to have to continue to do the work when I know we have all these beautiful young people who are ready and who are willing. So when you start asking people to step aside, no, you step up. It's not about stepping aside, because here's what I learned over the years. The leadership line is short. All you have to do is get in it. You can get in the back, you can get in the front, or you can get in the middle. So I'm going to leave you with a powerful idea, and I hope he has not left. Where's Terrence? He might have left. He is a young man who came to my office, and he said he wanted to be a pollster. So I said, okay, what you got? He says, well, I'm over at Brookings, and they're teaching me how to do it, but I want to go work for Cornell Belcher. So I said, oh, that's great. That's a great idea. And I said, we need more, because we only have a few, so we need more. So I said, great. I'll call Cornell. I'll set up a meeting for you. He calls me back a day later and says, well, I don't know if I really want to work for Cornell. I think maybe I should stay at Brookings. I said, you choose your weapon. Wherever you stay, be the best at what you want to be. But he decided to go with Cornell. From that, he has become, this young man is probably 5 or 6 years older than you are. He has become one of the #1 posters in Washington because he had an idea. And he followed it through. So don't let anybody tell you your ideas are bad. There are no bad ideas in politics or public service. Everything is a good idea. Just keep working at it. And yes, keep calling us. I'm on my website. You can get me. I do answer my emails. I do answer my calls. Y'all give me some time here, though. But if you call me, I will definitely reach out and try to get back to you. Because I believe in lifting as we climb. So thank you for this award.
1 second, stand right here with me, stand right here. We got a quick little message, so if y'all could turn to y'all left and our right here, and we're gonna wrap things up.
I know. But Secretary Clinton really did tape a beautiful message for Mignon, who truly, again, for staff in the room, again, what I said about Miss Lottie was true for so many who worked on the Hillary Clinton campaign. This was the pillar. This is who so many reached out to touch. This is who kept them motivated, excited, believing, including our wonderful candidate. And so she had beautiful words that we won't be able to play now, but we're going to send her home with them.
Amy. And I'm gonna bring Mathoni back up to the stage. We bring you back. Yeah, we bring you back up. You want to close out together? Together? We're better together. Better together. We still, still.
All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Thank you for helping us to honor these powerful Idea Awards honorees and winners. And of course, our Legacy Award winners. We are so honored to have been in their presence. Did you learn something tonight? Did you learn something tonight? What are we walking away with? Nothing but inspiration, and we needed that. So again, on behalf of Amy Pritchard, myself, Mathoni Wambu-Kral, and Cirillo
Manego III.
Good night.
Good night, y'all. Oh, and by the way, if you are of age, drink. But if you not, eat. But if you are of age, you can drink and eat, do both. Because they got food and stuff we got to get rid of, we pay for. I told you we're going to pay these bills. We're going to pay these bills.
You